Welcome to THE 1020 Introduction to Theater with Bobby Bell. Writing about theater. Part 1. Were you to travel through the Palace of the Vatican and walk through the 4 Stanze di Raffaello, the 4 Raphael rooms, you would finally emerge upon the 4th room, Stanza del Incendio del Borgo, the room of the fire in the Borgo. Here is the most famous of the Raphael frescoes that adorn the 4 rooms, his masterpiece, The School of Athens, which was painted in the years 1509 to 1510. This room originally housed the library of Pope Julius II, and the painting standing opposite the room from the fresco, the Disputation of the Holy Sacrament, symbolically represents a principle of the Renaissance, that reason and truth would serve to enlighten the spiritual world. Looking at the School of Athens, you can see depicted all of the philosophers that were known to the Renaissance world. Writing about theater, we will be borrowing extensively from the philosopher who wrote the first treatise on the arts in theater, Aristotle. To better understand his methodology, we will start with the various ideas and models from which Aristotle borrowed and learned. Aristotle was the great synthesizer of the ancient world and was much admired during the Renaissance. There were a variety of philosophies contending with the nature of truth and reality. For the idealist, the world in which we live was not a world of truth or reality. Rather, truth existed in perfected forms and ideals. Reality was a mere or imperfect copy of those ideals. Other philosophers, like Zeno of the Impossible Heap, distrusted reality and truth altogether and saw nothing but change in the world. And if there were an objective truth, it was unknowable and more than likely an illusion because everything was in constant flux. Aristotle brought empiricism into the mix and attempted to synthesize the best ideas of both contending schools of philosophy. The School of Athens by Raphael displays the wide range of philosophies about the world and the arts, from the idealists to those who believed in constant change. The School of Athens by Raphael displays the wide range of philosophies about the world and the arts, from the idealists to those who believed in constant change. Parmenides believed in a universe that consisted solely of idea, where change is impossible and a delusion. His ideas influenced Plato, who believed the world we live in was a false and imperfect copy of the world of ideas. At the other extreme was the gloomy philosopher Heraclitus, who believed in a world of constant change, where nothing is permanent or knowable. A student of Plato, Aristotle was the great synthesizer of the age. He took the best of Plato and Heraclitus and created a common-sense materialist philosophy of the world. Indeed, Aristotle has been called the man of uncommon common sense. Aristotle developed a tool for examining the world, including the arts, with the four causes of things passing into and out of being. Material cause, that out of which something comes into being. Efficient cause, that which initiates the coming into being and bridges the material and formal causes. The formal cause, the definitive essence of a thing, the isness of a thing. The final cause, that for the sake of which something comes into being. For example, we are all familiar with a mug. The material cause for a mug would be the clay out of which it is made. The thing that causes clay to turn into a mug would be the efficient cause of the potter. The formal cause of a mug is not just its shape, but also its essence, the definitive thing about it that allows us to distinguish it from other similar objects made of clay, like a bowl or a vase. The final cause would be to hold liquid, particularly hot liquid like coffee. When it comes to the arts, Plato's view of the world meant that a real cat would be a poor imitation of the ideal cat, and that a sculpture of a cat would be a double lie as an imitation of an imitation. This led Plato to believe that the art should be banned. Aristotle, on the other hand, believed that the imitation that artists do was not mere copying. The imitation of art could take out the imperfections and boring blemishes of nature and focus on the beauty and essence. For this reason, Aristotle stated that art could be more truthful than history. All arts imitate. Using Aristotle's tool for examining the world, we can more analytically talk and write about the arts. In the plastic arts, they all have the same object of imitation, the visual world. We can then distinguish the different forms of art by their mean and manner of imitation. Painting uses the tools available in 2 dimensions. Sculpture uses the means available for 3 dimensions, so that 2 imitations of the same object, Cupid and Psyche, differ by their means of imitation. The 1889 painting by William Adolphe Bouguereau, Psyche and Cupid, uses the 2-dimensional means of canvas and oil paints. The sculpture, created between the years 1787 and 1793, Psyche, revived by Cupid's Kiss, by Antonio Canova, uses the 3-dimensional means of hammer, chisel, and marble. Or in other words, unlike a painting, you can walk around this work of art and see it from every perspective.